There's a group of fungi that quietly thrives in some of the most toxic, metallic places on Earth, mining sites where most organisms would perish. Amid the barren landscapes and heavy metal-contaminated soil, Cladosporium species have found not only a way to survive, but a way to do something astonishing: absorb gold. Imagine stepping into an abandoned mining site. The air is thick with dust, the soil blackened by years of chemical leaching. You wouldn't expect life to flourish here, yet beneath the surface, a microscopic army is hard at work. These are extremophilic fungi, life forms that defy the odds. Among them, Cladosporium spp, a genus with hundreds of fungal species, many of which have evolved unique biochemical tools to tolerate and even thrive in metal-contaminated environments. The story of Cladosporium is not one that starts in laboratories. It begins in the field, where researchers noticed fungal colonies growing directly on mine tailings, the leftover debris after ore extraction. These fungi weren't just present. They were actively metabolizing and interacting with their toxic surroundings. For years, this was dismissed as mere contamination. But slowly, evidence built up. These fungi weren't intruders. They were specialists. What makes Cladosporium species so resilient? Part of the answer lies in their melanin-rich cell walls. Unlike many fungi, Cladosporium produces dark pigments that shield them from UV radiation and oxidative stress, a perfect adaptation for the exposed, hazardous zones of old gold mines. But the real magic lies in their cell wall chemistry. Fungal cell walls are complex structures composed of chitin, glucans, proteins, and in many cases, negatively charged molecules. These negatively charged groups can bind to positively charged metal ions, like gold. Yes, gold. In ionic form, gold becomes reactive, and in environments where gold is dispersed in microscopic particles or leached in solution, fungi, like Cladosporium, act as natural traps. When Cladosporium is exposed to a gold solution, its cell walls begin to absorb the gold ions. The process doesn't stop there. Some species can even reduce the gold ions into elemental gold nanoparticles. Under the microscope, researchers have observed glimmering particles forming along fungal hyphae, as if the organism itself was weaving gold thread through its body. This phenomenon, called biosorption and bioreduction, is more than just a scientific curiosity. It holds real-world promise for sustainable gold recovery. Traditional gold extraction relies heavily on toxic chemicals like cyanide or mercury, both harmful to ecosystems and human health. But what if we could harness fungi to do the same job, more gently? To test this, scientists have cultured Cladosporium isolates in synthetic gold solutions. The results were stunning. In some cases, the fungi could remove up to 80% of gold ions from the solution within just a few days. Not only does this show efficiency, but the process is also renewable. The fungi can be grown on waste biomass or agricultural residues, making the method cheap and environmentally friendly. Let's take this further. Suppose we collect contaminated mine water containing trace amounts of gold. Running it through a bioreactor filled with immobilized Cladosporium, biomass could strip the water of valuable metals without needing harsh chemicals or expensive filtration. And the gold, once accumulated, can be recovered through desorption or incineration of the fungal biomass, leaving behind pure gold particles. This is more than theory. In recent years, pilot projects have explored fungal biosorption systems for rare metals, including gold, platinum, and palladium. While Cladosporium isn't the only fungus capable of such feats, its robustness and adaptability make it one of the most promising candidates. But where do these fungi come from? Are they easy to find? You'd be surprised. Cladosporium species are cosmopolitan. They exist in soil, air, plants, and even human habitats. But it's the strains isolated from mining sites that are of most interest. These variants have been pressured by decades of heavy metal contamination to evolve unique resistance mechanisms. In essence, they've become superfungi. Isolating them involves sampling mine tailings, culturing on selective media, and identifying strains through genetic sequencing. Once isolated, their biosorption capacities are tested using gold chloride or other gold salt solutions. Researchers then measure how much gold the fungus absorbs, and under what conditions: temperature, pH, concentration, and exposure time. Interestingly, Cladosporium shows optimal gold biosorption at slightly acidic conditions, similar to what you defined in acid mine drainage. This compatibility makes them suitable for real mining environments, not just lab conditions. Moreover, scientists are exploring genetic enhancement, where genes responsible for metal resistance and reduction are overexpressed to increase gold uptake. There is even talk of combining Cladosporium with other organisms, like bacteria or algae, to form synergistic biofilms that can trap multiple metals at once. Of course, challenges remain. Harvesting the gold from biomass, scaling the process industrially, and ensuring the fungi don't become invasive species are all important considerations. But the groundwork has been laid. The implications go far beyond gold. If we can harness fungi like Cladosporium for selective metal recovery, we can reimagine how we extract resources. Mining doesn't need to be dirty and destructive. With biotechnology, it can become clean, efficient, and circular. Imagine a future where abandoned mines are reactivated not by machines and chemicals, but by biological systems. Tanks filled with fungal cultures gently stripping away metals from tailings, while restoring the land in the process. We've come a long way from viewing fungi as mere molds or nuisances. Today, they are emerging as some of the most sophisticated biochemists on the planet. And Cladosporium spp, quiet residents of our world's harshest places, might just lead the way to a more sustainable mining revolution. So next time you walk by a rock or soil crust blackened with time, consider this. Beneath your feet, microscopic threads may be at work, turning dust into treasure.